Hello, my name is Kevin Hill. I'm a Cloud Solutions Architect at NetApp.
Hi, I'm Jeremy Goodrum. I am a consulting architect with Exosphere Data.
Today we're going to be talking to you about ONTAP Cloud and how powerful it can be for you and your data management. I'll do a quick overview. This is really where you have the same operating system on a physical ONTAP system in your data center, but we've ported that as a software service running up either in AWS or in Microsoft Azure. You know, what we end up doing is we end up using the cloud resources. So it's a virtual machine up in AWS. You know, this is Elastic Cloud Compute, or EC2. We also use the underlying disk that they have, which is Elastic Block Store, or EBS. We do the same kind of thing in Azure. We use an Azure virtual machine, and we use the LRS disk from Azure to support the resources for an ONTAP cloud system. The beauty here, though, is really where you can actually go ahead and easily replicate your data from an on-prem system via SnapMirror up into the cloud, or either AWS or Azure. It's the same processes, same procedures, same feature sets, which is extremely enabling because you don't have to change your processes that you use on-prem to be able to go ahead and leverage the cloud.
Absolutely. That's one of the most important things that my customers love, is the fact that the same workloads that I ran here, I can easily start porting it up here. And as an automation guy, it's one API.
Yep. No.
I only have to code once.
I know, it's the same exact process. And if it works on-prem, it'll work on the cloud. We drew out a little example here for a SQL workload. So this is where I replicated my LUNs from my on-prem system up to the ONTAP cloud system. Also maybe files for NFS or SIFs. But in this case, I wanted to run my database. And I only try to pull that up to ONTAP cloud and then run it on a SQL virtual machine up in AWS.
That's it's interesting to bring that up, because I actually had a project recently where it was a software development company. And they were building a .NET SQL-backed application, and they were trying to look how to control their cloud spend, because they were spinning up tens and 20s of these dev environments for all their devs. Let me show you. So what we did is we actually worked with a company called Windocs that actually creates a SQL container inside of like Windows 2012 server.
Sweet.
Yeah. So the cool thing is that we were able to create these little container environments for each one of the devs inside of this SQL environment.
I know where you're going.
Yeah. We then used FlexClone.
Yes, man.
We FlexCloned. There was a 200 gig database. We were able to FlexClone it directly in. Within a minute, brand new dev is online. They're able to do all their testing. We actually cut the cost in the cloud by 90%.
Wow.
Because we went down to a single ONTAP cloud system and a single SQL server.
Sweet.
And it managed everything for them.
Yeah, and I'll bet that it was a much quicker turnaround time for your devs.
You know what? The devs didn't even have to do anything. It was all tied into our Jenkins pipeline, full CI/CD pipeline.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, we were able to actually automate the entire thing. So as soon as the build from a back-end team came in, new environments were spun right up. So exactly, right?
Nice.
So this is one of the things that we really like, and a lot of my clients love about being able to do everything here, because we took this exact same methodology, built it inside of the cloud for a client's on-premise data center.
Very, very cool. Hey, you're talking about containers.
Yeah.
And actually talking about the different automation pieces. You and I talk a lot, a lot about different automation things, and actually using multi-cloud. I know you were working on a couple of things. One is where I've done a couple of things with automation with AWS.
Yeah, you were telling me about that.
So this is where I just work with them. We just recently launched our Quick Start. So we have a Quick Start out in AWS, and it's really going to launch the Cloud Manager that actually deploys all the resources for ONTAP Cloud. It goes and configures the ONTAP Cloud system, also configures a SQL Server with everything fully attached. Now that's what we did. I know you've been working on a few other things. Can you tell us a little bit about that? Because I think it's super cool.
I appreciate it. Quick Starts are awesome. I've been using Quick Starts for years. I make Quick Starts for my clients. I had an interesting project come up, and we needed to be able to basically create a data center in a box, because the customer is building and they want to use ONTAP Cloud as the core foundation for their developers.
Sure.
And they need to be able to very quickly spin up ONTAP Cloud environments. So what we did is we introduced Terraform, which is a infrastructure as code service.
Sure, easy to spin up other resources.
Spin up things. I can create new servers and everything like that in Amazon, And then we added to that Chef, which is a configuration management tool. You know, very familiar with this. And Chef allows me to define a configuration. So we put all of this together, and we added in ONTAP Cloud, and now we're able to actually terraform an entire data center, SQL workloads, MySQL databases, Active Directory, SIF services, everything together as one build on top of ONTAP Cloud. And all we have to type is one command, terraform apply.
Sweet.
And everything comes up. And so that's also in our Jenkins pipeline.
Oh, really?
So now the devs, as they're running and wanting to do full-on integration testing against ONTAP Cloud, because that's how they're developing their services, everything becomes a part of it. And the amazing benefit behind it is it's one single set of APIs. I can do it regardless of where it is. We're actually also testing ONTAP Cloud in Azure right now, because we want to see what the difference is going to be. And as a development company, we want choice and control and cloud control. And the cost differences, we can actually start load balancing across multiple clouds.
Right. You and I actually talked about one other thing, you know, whereas you can actually link those clouds together. You know, we talked about how there's different third-party products, or being able to go and just search the internet. There's blogs that will say how you can connect your AWS virtual private cloud, you know, your network, to your Azure VNet,
right,
and seamlessly be able to use both clouds at the same time. You know, this is where, you know, weren't you using Terraform to go ahead and easily spin up the compute on the Azure side, but use SnapMirror to quickly and easily move your data?
Yeah. So this actually was back on the whole DevOps with SQL project that I worked on, where we actually, the client was evaluating both Amazon and Azure. They wanted to see how well it would work and you know what benefits they got out of one or the other. So we actually set up an ONTAP Cloud system in AWS and in Azure. We set up that VPN connection you were talking about. Very straightforward. SnapMirror. We actually used Cloud Manager. We didn't even manage the SnapMirrors ourselves.
Oh, really? Yeah.
We used Cloud Manager. We literally just drag and drop. Whole thing's replicated over. Absolutely beautiful. But at one point, we actually said, let's cut over our workload. Everything's in containers. Everything is automated. So we stood up another SQL server on this side, had it connected and ready to go. And then we actually ran automation using WFA, NetApp Workflow Automation, to actually cut off the SnapMirrors, break the relationships, bring the disks online on this side. We actually updated Active Directory DNS, because we had Active Directory on both sides.
Sure.
And the reason for it was, it essentially was a reboot. We failed completely out of Amazon into Azure in what equates to a reboot. As this system's going down, this system's coming up, and we updated DNS immediately.
Awesome.
Yeah, so no process changes, everything was perfect, all of our data was right back there online, and we just started spinning up new environments, new dev containers.
Cool.
Completely repeatable. So, you know, that's really, you know, when we start looking at the different ways that we can start using, you know, ONTAP, especially in Amazon and Azure right now, this is what gets me excited.
Yep, very, very much. So again, you can spin up a new ONTAP cloud system in literally minutes, you know, and take advantage of all the same kind of features and capabilities. This is dude. Thanks, man. This has been awesome. You know, I'm glad you actually helped me with this. But you know, if you want to find out more about ONTAP Cloud or anything that NetApp has to offer, please come to netapp.com.